Hi guys, so today in our video lecture I am going to cover all about strings, how to declare a string variable, how to read a string from the keyboard and how to display our string on the monitor. So today's topics are, so first I will start the concepts with the definition of the string and then I will introduce escape sequences. After that I will cover how to declare a string variable, reading a string and displaying a string in C language as well as Java language. Finally, I will conclude this video lecture by reading and displaying strings in Python. Guys, a point I want to cover here. If you observe C language and Java language, I have mentioned clearly declaration of string variables. But in Python, I did not mention any declaration of string variables. The meaning here is C and Java both are statically typed language, but Python is dynamically typed language. That means before using any variable, no need of declaration in Python. So that's why Python is called as dynamically typed language. But in the case of C and Java, before using any variable, we need to declare those variables first. After variables are declared, then only we can use those variables in our program if it is C and Java language. So that's why C and Java both are statically typed languages and Python is dynamically typed language. So now we will consider the string. String is nothing but series of characters to represent a text in the programming language. Now I am giving various examples here. In those examples, I have given uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, space, as well as a special character underscore. So all these are allowed in strings. If you observe another point here, three strings are enclosed in double quotations, one string is enclosed in single quotation. That is possible with respect to programming language. A language like Python uses both. Python uses single quotations as well as double quotations to enclose the strings. After that, escape sequences. So before going to see escape sequence, I want to introduce what is escape character. Actually, escape character is a special character used to change the meaning of a character. So backslash is the escape character we have. By placing that backslash before any other character, we can change the meaning of that character in the required way. Then, escape sequences. Any sequence of characters starting with a backslash can be called as escape sequences. See, I have mentioned various examples for the escape sequences here. The first one is backslash n, where backslash n represents line feed. By using that backslash, automatically we are changing the meaning of n to a line feed. Here, by using a backslash, we are changing the meaning of t into a tab. And then backslash o represents octal number. Backslash x represents hexadecimal number. Backslash u represents Unicode number. Actually 0065, you may consider that as a decimal number. But because of backslash u have as an escape sequence, 0065 now becomes Unicode of a particular character in hexadecimal number format. And then I have mentioned various escape sequences and the corresponding character represented by it. So here the first escape sequence I have considered is backslash n, which is a line feed. And then backslash r represents carriage return. And then backslash t represents horizontal tab. Tab in the horizontal direction. Suppose if you want to get tab space vertically, we need backslash v as a escape sequence. Then if you want to represent backspace, then backslash b is the escape sequence. Then within the string, if you want to represent backslash itself, then we need to use two backslashes. To get a single quote, we have backslash single quote. To get a double quote, we have backslash double quotation. And then to represent octal number, we have escape sequence backslash o. Here, automatically NN will be an octal number. Then to represent hexadecimal number, we have backslash x. Then automatically NN becomes hexadecimal number. Now to represent Unicode, we have backslash u as escape sequence. Automatically HHH will become a Unicode in hexadecimal number. So next we will see how to declare a string and how to read a string and how to display a string in the C language. So in the C language, there is no separate string data type available. Then we need to consider array of characters as a string. That means we need to specify character array as a string. Then in C language, we need to enclose the string in the double quotations and also make a note of it. So every string in the C language will be terminated with a null character. At the end of every string, there must be a null character. And how to declare a string as a character array in the C language. See here, have declared a variable name of character array. So here, the size of this array I have mentioned as 100. Then automatically, this name can hold up to 99 characters. Here, the maximum size of the string you can enter is up to 99 characters. Why? Because every string must have a null character at the end. Then automatically, by using the size 100 in the character array definition, we can enter up to 99 characters only. Automatically, the 100th character will be the null character. So with this declaration, the maximum size of string you can enter into that variable will be of 99 characters. Then how to initialize string? There are different methods available. I am going to give three different methods, important methods to you. The first one is I am going to initialize unsized array with characters. See here I did not specify any size of this array. Then dynamically it will take the size. See how many characters I have here. Well, I have 7 characters here. Then the size of this name character array automatically fixed during the runtime as 7. See, I am initializing this character array by using curly brackets. In that curly brackets, each character I have separated with a comma, and every character is enclosed with single quotations. Make sure of that the last character must be a null character. That is the first type of string initialization. If you initialize like this, what will happen? See, in C language, so the character data type occupies 1 byte. That means 1 memory location it will take for each character. Then how many memory locations will be allocated for that name character array? That name character array automatically takes 7 memory locations. I am assuming the first memory location address is 2000. Then automatically total 7. That means the last memory location address will be 2006. Then what about the name here? Here the variable name is associated with address of the first element in that array. What is the address of the first element? The base address of this array is 2000. Then automatically the variable is associated with 2000. That means if you access the name, automatically it holds 2000, which is nothing but the base address of that character array, which is the address of the first character in that array. And next, initializing a string directly. Here what I am doing, whatever the string I am using, that entire string I am supplying to that character variable. See, that entire string I have enclosed in the double quotations. Then I have initialized that character array name with that entire string. This is direct initialization of string variable. And the third one is initializing string using character pointer. Here I am taking character pointer. See, now the name is a pointer variable of character type. Then I am initializing that character pointer with the string. Then automatically the same thing will happen. I already mentioned that whatever the name we have given for that character array, that is associated with the address of the first character. So in this way also we can initialize the string variable. And next, how to read string input. Here I am giving two methods. The first one is by using scanf function, and the second method I am using fgetS method. If you want to use the scanf function to read this string, you can read only a single word. The scanf function accepts the input until it encounters a white space character. Suppose if you have two words, the first word and the second word both are separated with a space. Then whenever a space is encountered by the scanf, it will stop its reading. Then automatically only first word it will read. Then, so while reading a string by using scanf, the format specifier %s you can use. See the example here, scanf %s. clearly observe, I have directly used the name of character array. I did not use any address of symbol there because name itself a pointer which is having the address of first character in the memory. So no need to specify address of symbol again. The next one is fgetters. So what is the drawback with scanf? With scanf, we can read only one word as a string. But if you want to read multiple words as a string, then we have to go with fgetters function. By using fgetters function, we can read a line of string. Until you press enter key, you can read any number of words. So fgetters takes 3 arguments here. See, the first argument is the name of the character array variable, and the second one is the maximum size. Maximum how many number of characters you want to read, that is the maximum size you have to include. And then we need to use stdin as the third argument. Stdin represents the standard input device, that is keyboard. That means this fgetters will now accept the input characters from the keyboard. This is the example I am considering here. Fgetters name is the variable, character array variable we have. 100 is the maximum size, the maximum of 100 characters you want to read. And then the third one is stdin. How you can output this string on the monitor? The first thing is printf statement. By using printf function, we can display this string on the monitor. So while using this printf function, we can make use of format specifier %s. And then we have 2 more options, puts and then fputs. See, puts and fputs also can be used to display your string on the monitor. See, what is the syntax of puts? Puts and then name of the variable we need to specify. Automatically the string available in that variable will be displayed on the monitor. And then fputs syntax is fputs and the name of the variable, and then we need to mention std out for the monitor. And one more difference between the puts and fputs is the puts will be automatically terminated with new line character. At the end of your string display, it will include a new line automatically. But if you use fputs, you will not get any new line at the end of your display. Switching to C compiler, let me create a character array variable now for this string. str is the name of my variable, which can hold up to 100 characters. I am initializing my string variable now with programming language. So intentionally I have used programming language 2 words without any space. So let me display this string by using printf statement. You know that %s we need to use as format specifier for a string. Then if you run the program, you will get the string available in str variable. So now I want to insert a tab between programming and language words. So how you can insert a tab? That is a escape sequence we need to use \t to insert a tab between these 2 words. I am running it now. Then I got a tab space between programming and language words. Now I want to display these 2 words in the separate lines. Then the escape sequence I need to use is \n. If you run this program, then in the first line you will get the word programming. In the second line you will get the word language. Then I am using a space between these 2 in a normal way. I am running it. Then I got a space between these 2 words. So after having said this, I don't want to initialize the string here. So now I want to read the string from the user. For that I am taking the help of scanf statement. So before using that scanf statement, I am using a printf statement to prompt the user for entering the string. I am using a prompt, enter your name. Then I am using a scanf statement with format specifier %s. And then we need to use name of the string variable, that is our str. Guys, clearly observe here, no need of any address of symbol before str variable, because str itself is holding the address of the first character in the memory. And then I am printing that str variable content on the monitor by using printf statement. Then it is asking the user to enter the name. Then I am entering my name, Ratnakishore. Then if I press enter, automatically that string is displayed as it is. See, I am running the program again. Then again it is asking my name. Now I am entering my name with a space separation. See, I have entered Ratna space Kishore. Then if I press enter key, the scanf statement only reading the first word. It does not read the second word because that is separated with space. Instead of using scanf statement, I am going to use fgetS statement. Let me delete this scanf statement and then I am using fgetS. So what are the arguments for the fgetS? The first one is variable name. What is variable name now? str is the variable name, and then the maximum size of the. So for that I am using size of operator here. Instead of hard coding it, I am using size of operator here, size of the string variable str. Here you can use size of operator to get the number of bytes associated with that variable. Here our variable is a string variable of character array. Since each character is occupying 1 byte, automatically size of str returns the maximum number of characters that character array variable can hold. So in this case, the size of str returns 100. And then the third argument is std in to represent keyboard. Then let me run it. Now as my name I am entering Ratnakishore without any space. Now the Ratnakishore is displayed without any problem. Again I am going to run this. Now I am going to enter my name with a space separation. Means even space is there between the words, so that is accepted by fgetS. And then I am going to replace this printf statement with putS statement. One argument it will take, that is the string variable. If I run this program, it is asking my name. I am entering my name. Here also I got the same output. That means whatever the operation that printf statement is performing, the same operation here putS statement performing. But the difference is, in the case of putS statement, no need to specify format specifier as in the case of printf statement. So that's it with C. So now we will see creation and input output of a string in Java. So in Java also we have to enclose the string in double quotations. And if you observe Java, there are 3 different types of classes available to create string objects. The first one is string, second one is string buffer, and the third one is string builder. So by using these 3 classes, we can manage strings within the Java program. Then if you observe a class string, objects created by using the class string are immutable. Immutable objects means in place we cannot change those string literals. So if you want to change any string literal, automatically a new object will be created if that string is of type string class. And coming to the remaining 2, both are mutable strings. If you create objects by using string buffer as well as string builder, both are mutable strings. Those string literals can be changed in place without creating any new object. Now, string creation. There are 2 ways to create strings in the Java. The first one is using string literal and the second one is by using new keyword. See, so this is my string literal I have, hi all. Then I am using the class string and then str is my string variable now. Then automatically this string literal will be loaded into object. That object is now referenced by str and then that is of type string. And the second way is using new keyword. Here string is the class and str is the reference variable now for our string, and then new is a keyword we have to create a new object, and then this is the constructor we are using for that string. Hi all is now input, that is the string literal we have with the string reference variable str. And then string input, how to read string into the Java program. Actually, in order to read this string into the Java program, we need to use a scanner object. So in order to import that scanner object, we need to use import java util.scanner as a statement in the Java program, then automatically whatever the scanner class we have in java.utilities, that will be imported. So in that scanner class, we have two methods. The first one is next and the second one is next line. So by using next, we can read only one word. Suppose if you enter multiple words with white space separation, automatically first word will be loaded. It is same as your scanf with %s format specifier in the C programming language. Next we have next line. By using that next line method in scanner object, we can read a single line into a string variable. Even though line will have multiple words, so that is accepted by the next line. It is same as fgetS function in your C language. Then, so importing scanner class, I already mentioned that if you want to import the scanner class which is available at java.util package, then use statement import java.util.scanner. After importing that, we have to create an object for it. So how to create an object with scanner class? See, scanner is the class we have. Now I am using a name radar for that object. After that, I am using a new keyword, and then this is the constructor we have. For that constructor, I am using the input parameter system.in, which represents the standard input stream. So after creating this scanner object, we can make use of next and next methods to read either single word or multiple words with that scanner object. See, now my first variable, string variable, is str1 of string type, and then I am loading a string into that string variable by using radar.next method, where radar is nothing but object created for scanner class. And then the next example I have with str2 variable, which is of again string type, and then a scanner object I am using to read entire line from the keyboard. Then we have three different methods to display our string on the output device. The first one is print, second one is println, and the third one is printf. So these are the methods available in system.out class. So what is the difference among all these things? If you use print, it will display only string. Whatever the string we have as input parameter, that will be displayed by this print statement. Next, if you use println, then automatically it will append a new line character at the end of your string while displaying. And the third one is printf. So printf statement will display formatted string. Like your C language, you can use some formatting within the string while displaying it. So what are the concepts so far covered? I want to show all these things now using Java programming. The first one, so I am going to create a string variable of class string. Then I am initializing that string variable with a string literal hi all. Then I am going to display that string using system.out.println statement. Then let me run the program. See, I got hi all as the output. Now I am using two variables. So str1, this str1 string variable I am initializing with a string literal Java programming. And then I am creating another string with a name str2. Now I am using new keyword, and then I need to use a constructor. Then my string here is btech student. Then I am going to display both. I am running it. See, so both strings are displayed in the separate lines. So instead of using println here, if I use only print, then I will get both the strings in the same line. See, I got both the strings in the same line because the print statement displays strings as it is. But if you use println, automatically at the end of the string, it will append a new line character. So replace it with println. You will get both the strings in separate lines. So I am using the scanner object to read these strings. Before using the scanner object, we have to import the scanner class available in the java.util package. Once the scanner class is imported, so we need to create an object for it. How to create an object? scanner class name and the object name. I am using read as the object name, and then new scanner, and then we need to use system.in to represent standard input string. Once that is ready, so we can read a string from the keyboard, and then we can load that string into a variable by using next or next line methods available in scanner class. Then I am creating a string variable str, and then I am using next method in the scanner object. Then I am using println statement to display that string. I am running the program. So I am entering, it is waiting for the string. Then I am entering a string, Ratna Kishore. Then it displayed the same thing. So before reading the string, I am using a statement to prompt the user. A println statement I am using. Enter your name, that is the prompt I am using. Then I am running it. So it is asking the name, then I am using. Then if I enter, automatically I will get the same string back. See, after prompt, a new line character is automatically included. So to get rid of it, instead of using println statement, here I am using print statement. Now it is giving the prompt, and then I am entering Ratna Kishore without any space separation. So I got the Ratna Kishore in the next line. Again, I am running the program. I already mentioned that the next method allows only first word if you enter multi-word line as input. Then I am using my name with space separation, Ratna Kishore. Then it is taking only Ratna. Now, instead of next statement, I am using next line statement. So what it can do? It can read entire line. Even the multiple words are there in that line with space separation or tab separation. So no problem you will get. That entire line can be taken by next line method. I am entering my name with space separation. So that is accepted here. So in that way, we can use either next method or next line method to read these strings. Now I will let you know creation, input, output strings in Python. See, in Python, we can encode string literals either by using single quotes or in double quotes. So anything you can consider, both are same. And then in Python 3, strings are immutable objects. In place, we cannot change the contents of the string. If you want to change the string content, automatically a new object will be created for that string literal. Next, if you observe Python, everything is an object. So every string object belongs to a class str in Python. Then how to create strings in Python? See, I have given two variables, var1 and var2. Then the first string literal is string1, that is enclosed in double quotations, and the second string literal is string2, that is enclosed with single quotations. Whenever we are using a statement like this, an object will be created for string1, then that will be referenced by var1 now. Now var1 is a reference variable of object string1. Similarly, another object will be created in the memory for string2, which will be referenced by var2. Now var1 and var2 both are reference variables for the objects string1 and string2 respectively in the memory. And then how to get string input? See, you can get the input by using a function input. So that input function will take a text as input argument, which is nothing but a prompt for the user, and then the user will enter some string. That string will be written by that input statement. Then automatically you can capture that return value from input function into a variable. Then we have string output. To output this string, we have a function called print. The print can take various objects, number of objects it will take, and then it is also having two arguments. The first one is SCP. SCP stands for separator. The default value for the separator is a space. And the next one is end argument. Here the default value for the end argument is new line. That means whenever we are using multiple objects here, since the default separator is space, all those objects are separated with a space while displaying them. Then after displaying all the objects with space separation, automatically printf statement includes a new line character at its end. Then you can change the separator as well as end arguments based on your requirement. Okay. So in the Jupyter notebook, first I am going to create two strings. I am taking variable 1 to hold the first string. I am enclosing my first string in double quotes. So first string is welcome to. Now an object will be created in the memory for welcome to string literal. So that will be referenced by var1 now. Then I am going to create another variable var2 now, which is a reference variable for an object with a string Python programming. Now I am using single quotes to enclose that string literal. Now I am going to display both the strings by using print statement. So I am using two objects here. Then both the objects must be separated with commas. Then if I run this by using shift enter, I got both the strings with space separation. Here space is automatically included between the first object and the second object because the default value for the sep argument is a space. Now I can change that. Now I am changing that separation with some other character. Now I am using a hash symbol. Then if I run this, automatically hash will be included between both the objects. So I am going with only the default separation, then a space will be included. Now I want to use some escape sequences here. I want to include the Python within the double quotations. Then I am using escape character / and then double quotations. The same thing I am using at the end of Python word. Then if I run it, see, Python is now in double quotations. Now, how to read strings from the user? So that can be done by using input function. I am taking a variable var now. Then I am using input function to get the name of user. Here my prompt is enter your name. Then user will enter his name. Automatically that name will be loaded into a variable var. Then let me display that. See, it is asking the name. The prompt is displayed and it is asking the name of the user. Then I am entering my name. So it displayed my name. Suppose I want to include some additional stuff in the print statement that I can do. Hi, comma, and then I am displaying the variable content, and then I am displaying another text, welcome. Then if I run it with my name, then automatically I will get hi Ratnakishore, welcome. That is possible here. I already mentioned in the theory that here var is an object of class str. Then how you can get that information here? We can use type function to get the type of that variable. Then I am using a print statement to display type of var. If I run it, because of that type function, I got str as a class for that string variable var.